Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello people, welcome back again with me, and it's been a long time since I post my video 8 months ago, and today I want to do a review of a book, a novel, to complete my reading assignment from Miss Desi as our lecturer in reading for comprehension theory and practice class. And I put the subtitles to guys in here in case you don't get my point when I explain it to you. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. Okay guys, I'm Nabila from 1B class. I'm a college student of English Education Department in Syarif Hidayatullah, Jakarta. And as I said before, today I want to do a novel review. The title of this novel is A Summer to Die by Lois Lowry and published by Houghton Mifflin in 1977. This book has 154 pages. With young adult fiction genre, this novel tells about a family, a father, mother, and 2 daughters who moves into the countryside, and then the oldest child of this family have a disease. I personally think this book is good enough to read, but I was fooled by the title. I think this will surely tell us about how relationship between 2 sisters that one of whom has a disease, but apparently not. It's just a small part of this book. So before we getting into the story, I want to tell you guys about the cast first. There is Chalmers' family, Mr. Chalmers and his wife Lydia. The father not specifically named, but in this book they just called him Dr. Chalmers or Dad. They have 2 daughters, Molly Chalmers as the older one and Meg Chalmers as the youngest, an insecure 13-year-old girl who is jealous with her sister Beauty. In the story, she is often called Meg, and another cast is Wilbur, a friendly and kind old man. He is a neighbor of Chalmers' family. His grandfather was the owner of the land at that place, and Mr. Bank was the owner of the house that the Chalmers family lived at that time. And there's also Ben and Maria. They are Chalmers' neighbor too, a couple married who at that time were expecting the birth of their first child. And this story was taken from Meg's point of view. Getting into the story of this novel started when Chalmers' family moved into the countryside. Dr. Chalmers, as the English professor at the university, have to finish his book, so he bought a new house in the countryside, quiet and far from the city, so he can finish his book faster. And at the first, Meg and Molly did not agree with that, but their mom explained the situation that required them to move, so finally they understand about it. There are 3 bedrooms in that house, and their mom said that the one of the room used as a place for their father to study, so Meg and Molly have to share a room. Actually, Meg and Molly have different personalities, different traits that put them at odds over even slightest things. Then Molly drew a line with a chalk, creating a barrier between her and Meg's side, and then said, "Now, be as much of a slob as you want. Keep your mess on your side, and this side is mine." And it's been a few days when it's snowing. With her jacket and heavy boots, Meg walked toward the abandoned house that she could see across the field from the upstairs window. In there, she met an old man, Mr. Bank. In a nutshell, after talking for a while, they become a close friend. Meg visited him all the time, just to share stories about photography and her daily life, even when she fights with Molly. Mr. Bank teaches Molly too about the evident wildflower covering the estate that Meg doesn't even know what they are. And everything was going well until the night Meg and Molly had a fight. After the fight, they decide to sleep and ignore each other, but shortly after the lights are turned off, When Meg was daydreaming about something while looking at the house across from her through the window, Molly called her. With an odd voice, she told Meg to immediately call their parents. Meg confused. She ran to their parent room, called their parent, and returned to Molly. And Meg was shocked when she saw Molly's face covered in blood. Even the blood stained the blankets, pillow, and Molly's hair too. Their mom ran for the towel on the linen closet, and Dad was busy calming Molly. And that night, Molly rushed into the hospital, and Meg feels guilty about that. A few months after coming to the country, Molly having constant nosebleed, which the doctor blames on the cold weather. But after that night, when Molly rushed into the hospital, she was diagnosed with a fatal disease called acute myeloid leukemia. And after treatment at the hospital, she seems to recover slightly, but she has to take the pills recommended by the doctor. But the pill that she takes causes her beautiful hair fall out. Shortly thereafter, Ben Brady and a pregnant Maria Abode arrived to make the third bank house their home. All inhabitants of this area, Mr. Ben, Comer's family, Ben and Maria, enjoy one other company. Molly was very happy to meet a pregnant Maria because one of her dreams is to have a lot of children who will call her mom. What a simple dream, right? Then the unthinkable things happened. Molly was rushed back into the hospital, and she asked Meg to tell the baby to be born until she comes home. And Meg obligates her about it. Meg asked Molly to survive and back home to see Maria's baby born. But as we know from the title, at the end of the story, when Maria's baby was born, Molly got the equipment attached her body can help her to survive her illness. And after that sad summer, Comer's family returned to the city, and the story ends. I finished this book in 2 days, and as I said before, I was fooled by the title. When I read the first page of this book, I assumed that this novel is about a relationship of Meg and her sister Molly, who has a disease. But when I continued reading, it seemed more about Meg herself, her daily activities, her hobbies, and her friendship with Mr. Bang, Ben, and Maria. Even Molly's death is not portrayed well, and it's even not tells the reader the expression of the cast about how Molly's death affected everyone.
In my opinion, this is a realistic fiction story. But guys, sometimes you need something more dramatic in a story, isn't it? To make the story more interesting, even though it's based on a true story.
But it's not like I didn't enjoy this book. For sure, I really enjoyed it. I even cried when I read this story. This book provides a lot of valuable things if you can understand it well. But I just feel like a little disappointed because the theme was taken slightly defeated from the content of the story. The title and the content of the story is irrelevant. But overall, I like the way this book is written. Although the intent and purpose of the author's message in this book is quite implied. For you guys who like to reading families or sibling stories, or maybe stories about people with disease, and of course you like to reading a sad story too, I recommend this book for you guys to read. And after hearing this review, just focus on reading the story. Regardless the title, the content of this story is good enough to read in your spare time. And for some people, maybe this story will easily make you cry. And if you are curious about these stories, I put the link on the description box for you to access if you want to read it. And this is the end of the story. This review is purely from myself, and thank you for watching. Bye bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.